everybody. Just wanted to take a couple minutes to share with you a slideshow that I've put together that outlines 4 research-based practices that OSPI has shared with us around curriculum adoption processes. So I think you'll find this slideshow to be informative at the very least, if not enlightening. The first practice is identifying the parameters of the project. So really taking a look at things like district policy around curricular use and curriculum adoption, considering whether they need to be updated so that they're more reflective of state law and that kind of thing. And so from there, taking a look at budget, how much money do we have to spend on this project? And then also considering our stakeholders. Who's benefiting from this? Who do we hope to have benefit from this? Looking at our students, analyzing who our students are, who our teachers are, who our administrators are, who our paras are, and then our community at large, and really looking at how can we bring them on board in this process to get the best outcome for everybody. The other thing that happens at this stage is considering our technology capacity. To what degree does the technology that we have in district, to what degree will it support a math curriculum adoption? And what's our direction in terms of technology for the future? Are we going to be increasing? I think the answer is yes to that. So really identifying parameters is really just the groundwork where we consider the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and the how. From there, we move on to analyzing current course design. And so the way that we do that is by looking at longitudinal data from MSP, from MAP, and from SBAC, and seeing our students' level of achievement. The other thing that we take into consideration is just word of mouth data. So, as I'm out there interacting with teachers and hearing what their needs are and taking that into consideration, and then another way that that's happened is with Josh's listening tour. Our data aligns. What I've been hearing for the last 3 years and what Josh heard during his listening tour is that our current course design is not working for our students or for our teachers. And that we need to undergo a curriculum adoption process sooner than later. And then a third piece of data that we'll be collecting here soon is just going to come through a survey that I'll be sending out this week, that I'm just looking for you to provide me with some feedback on what's important to you about a math adoption, about a math curriculum. What are you looking for? What are some things that you're hoping to see? And then there's some other things in there, and it's really just to just help us gauge what's worked in the past, what hasn't worked in the past, and just to help us better define our current reality so that we can make some decisions from there. From there, we move into the process of selecting course materials. And so I've kind of broken this down into 2 parts. The first part where we gather and we narrow. So what that means is we'll end up sending out an application here soon where we'll be putting a team together that is diverse and representative of our district from K-5, including resource room, for this curriculum adoption process. We'll also be including administrators, and if there are any building coaches that are interested, I'd love to have them as well. I want to make this really clear, we're also really wanting this to not be the math people on this team. We're wanting this to be a group that's diverse and representative of our district. So we have our people who are super excited about math, but we also have people who are, let's be honest, a bit reluctant about math. They're a little nervous about math. We want those people on there because we know we have people in our district that are like that. And that's just the way it is. And so we want this adoption to work not just for the people who would consider themselves to be math people, but for also the people who would not consider themselves to be math people, because they're important too. From there, we'll do some training around the Common Core, its shifts, and the mathematical practices, as well as an instructional materials review tool called the IMET, or Instructional Materials Evaluation Tool. And from that training, the committee will be putting together a list of criteria that we're looking at for this adoption. And then from there, we will narrow the field, and we'll narrow the field down to about 2 to 4 curriculums that we would like to consider adopting. From there, we're going to do something different from what we've done in the past, and this is something that OSPI recommended, and that is to not undergo a pilot. Rather than doing a pilot, what they recommend doing is field testing. So we're not going to commit a school year or substantial time to doing something doing different things in different buildings, and then at the end of that process having people, their hearts being broken because they've put so much time and energy into something. So what we're going to do instead is some field testing where everybody will have the opportunity to try the resources that we're considering for adoption in their classrooms for a short period of time. So from product A, you may try 2 to 3 lessons from product A. From product B, same thing. From product C, same thing. And we may not get to a product C or a D. I don't know. We'll see how this process goes. So anyway, not a pilot, but field testing. And we think that that's going to work well. If you have questions about that, be sure to ask, because it's important to have this process be transparent and open. So from there, what you're going to do with your grade level team, after you've had the opportunity to try the materials in your classroom and take a look at them, is to evaluate them using the criteria that the team has put together, and evaluate them and provide that feedback as a grade level team, how you think each of the finalists did with our criteria. All right, from there, we'll take that, compile it, we'll go to PDCC, make sure that we're in line with policy and all that sort of jazz through PDCC, and if PDCC gives us the okay, we'll go to the school board and we will submit a proposal to the school board that the school board would consider and hopefully accept our recommendation for our next math curriculum adoption. From there, we'll be celebrating just like eating cake at a birthday party, and we will begin to implement the course and evaluate its effectiveness. And so one thing that I think is super important is that everybody have access to the training. So we're looking to have training go on next June when school is out. And then we'll have to determine how are we going to evaluate how effective our curriculum is, and what will ongoing training look like for the next 3 years. So those are some things that are still a little bit fuzzy as far as the long-term 3-year plan. Things that you can do to keep yourself ready. Take a look at EdReports. Become a core advocate through Achieve the Core and Student Achievement Partners. They have a blog called the Aligned blog. You can also click this link and see the Instructional Materials Evaluation Toolkit, or IMET. Louisiana Believes has also done a lot of curriculum reviews like EdReports. Get in touch with UCubed. Get connected with UCubed and Mathematical Mindsets. And then if you're looking to do some summer reading, NCTM's Principles to Action is a tremendous treatise on world-class mathematics, and it's really good. Trust me. Poolside reading. So be on the lookout for these things. Be on the lookout for the staff survey. Be on the lookout for the application. The staff survey and the application, they're 2 different things. All right. Be on the lookout for further screencasts like this one, where I'm communicating and just kind of sharing with you where we're at and what's going on. I'll try to keep them shorter than this one. This one's been long. And then that training next fall for the curriculum adoption team. It's another thing to just keep in mind, and we're going to work on finding ways to keep you up to date on what we're learning and what we're doing. Because again, we just feel like the transparency and the communication of this process is really important. So, hey, thank you so much for all